this room. There's no cure for this one! 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 This one! This one! This one! There's no cure for this one!
Hello everyone, I'm Tony Doherty and welcome to a very special week of Max's Muscle TV. Tonight's a very special one for all the team at Max's, folks, and we've certainly got more great stuff as always. As tonight we'll be showing you part one of the next routine of the training series when we take you through our intermediate training routine. And Freddie and Pete tackle what some call the most important meal of the day when they take a look at your breakfast options. First up though is a segment that's very special to the whole Max's family as it features Sam Mitchell, a key member of the Max's team that was taken from us far too soon. This segment is obviously very important to Sam's family, his many friends and everyone here at Max's. We played this tonight in memory of Sam and the wonderful life that he lived.
Well, for those who don't know, I'm the Queensland State Manager for Max's Amino Active. Been up there for 6 years with Max's. I'm just recently fresh off competing on the weekend in Darwin at the WFF Nationals, where I got a second place. So I've tried to stay a bit depleted since then, and Jordan and I are going to be doing a bit of a depletion session. Both of us are pretty drained, low carbs, so should work well for the workout we're doing. Well, what we try and do the last week before the show is generally we're probably on a low carbohydrate kind of diet, maybe up to 50 grams a day or something like that. So we really want to try and just get a muscle pump throughout the whole session, squeeze all the glycogen out of the muscles so we can flatten our physique out, ready for a 2 to 3 day carb load where we can really fill the muscles up, get rid of the water and get ready for stage. So we're both on pretty low carbs, so the session will be higher volume, probably higher intensity, shorter rest, and really just getting through the workout, just trying to get as much of a pump as we can.
My name's Jordo. I'm actually a personal trainer. I've been competing for about 3 years now. First year I actually won my first show and then came second at the Nationals and third in the Olympia, which I thought I was pretty proud of it for my first run. And this year I've come back about 7 kilo heavier and won the first show, actually took out the overall as a junior. Today's just going to be about, as Sam said, getting rid of all the glycogen in the muscle and trying to go for as big a pump as possible.
And we'll get through this in, say, 45 minutes.
We're already in a calorie depleted state. Once you go over the 45-minute mark, your ratio of catabolic to anabolic hormones starts to go in favour of the catabolic, and going too far beyond it, you can risk losing a bit of muscle tissue. And you're not going to build any muscle at this point anyway, so any more than 45 minutes is counterproductive, really.
What we're going to do is probably drop the weights a little bit more than we normally would, so maybe 70 to 80% of what we normally lift. A lot of the exercises people will use day to day, but we'll just try and get through more repetitions, have shorter rest, and probably back-to-back superset the exercises more so than we normally would. So we're just trying to really squeeze as much of the glycogen out of the muscle as we can.
We're not going to do anything too drastic. I mean, what's worked throughout the whole 12-16 week period we've been training is still going to work. All we're going to do is just lighten up the load a bit, because obviously we're that close, the only real thing that can happen is an injury. We're not going to build any more muscle or burn much more fat, so it just makes sense to reduce the weight a little bit and keep the heart rate up to, try and get a bit of a cardio effect, and as Sam was saying, burn as much glycogen as possible so we can make full use of that 2 to 3 day carb load.
The first thing we're going to be doing is a neutral grip lat pull down, and the reason we're going to do that is it kind of emulates a rear double bicep or a front double bicep pose. It's one of our compulsory poses in a bodybuilding routine, so really squeezes the back and the biceps together. So that's what we're going to start with, and it'll be 3 sets each. I'll go first, then Jordan, and follow each other for 3 to 4 sets.
Well, with this particular exercise, as Sam said, I really want to just focus on actually hitting that pose and making sure that all the individual muscle groups are turned on and switched on to their fullest capability, and really trying to emphasise that squeeze to harden the muscle up and try and deplete it with glycogen. I just find that actually by cocking the head back and keeping it up to the roof, you can actually get a lot better contraction. The muscles in the back can't really contract to their fullest ability if you round the back, so get your spine nice and arched will help to contract them. The second exercise will actually be a seated cable row. That again is just to get into the same sort of area. Obviously it's a different angle, so we're actually doing a row into the chest as opposed to a pull down. So we take the lats out of it a bit more and focus more on contracting and spreading the shoulder blade and the scapula.
What we're trying to do is keep the weights a little bit lighter than we normally would. So with the cable exercise, we can probably get a deeper contraction. We can take a lot of the other stabilising muscles out of it. So we can really just focus on squeezing our back rather than say, using our lower back or our hamstrings to support ourselves with such a bent over row. So really just trying to focus on squeezing the muscle. So that's why we've chosen this exercise.
See that young fellas embracing the 80s bodybuilding and getting the spirit of things, so I'm all for them. It's probably not something you'd wear in Queensland, it's a bit warm, but we're in Melbourne, so it's probably suitable.
Try them on, you'll never go back, trust me. Extremely comfortable.
Our third exercise is going to be an underhanded hammer strength pull down. So this is an overhead movement that really stretches the lat. So it's a great exercise for stretching the muscle, contracting the lat. It takes a lot more focus out of the upper back and the rear delt and focuses more on the middle back. So that'll just squeeze the major muscles through the middle back. So that's why we're going to use that as our third exercise.
Each arm or lat is actually working by itself, but the way that the hammer strength machine is designed will allow us to do them both at the same time.
So what we're going to go into is one arm dumbbell rows. Over probably leaning against a bench or a mirror. Just really focusing on isolating the lats one at a time and getting good stretch through the muscle. So just following on from this and really exhausting the lats. So let's go do it.
This exercise is really good for actually trying to rotate the arm around and get a nice stretch in the lats and then rowing it right into the hip and getting a good contraction there.
Yeah, the reason we're choosing this, as Jordan said, we really want to get a stretch through the lat. We can find we can get a better contraction with this exercise. It's all about contraction, so one arm at a time is going to be the best exercise for what we're trying to achieve. What we've got next is we're going to superset some bent over rear dumbbell flies with some behind the neck lat pull downs, just to really focus on the rear delts and burn the rear delts out and the upper traps.
I'm actually trying to incorporate a bit of pre-exhaust technique. My whole upper back and rear delts are actually quite a weak area for me, so by going into a more compound movement, you can actually use a little bit more weight, and because the rear delts are already pre-exhausted, they'll actually get a lot more from it going into a more compound movement.
What we're going to go into then is some biceps. So we're going to start off with some hammer curls, so that'll target our forearms and our biceps. Once again, we'll be doing 3 sets of 10 to 12 reps of a moderate weight. And we'll follow that up with straight arm barbell curls, and that'll finish our routine of back and biceps.
That's the end of our pre-contest workout, so we've really depleted our back and our biceps. Jordan will start getting ready to carb load in the next day or two for the Sunday show, so we're where we want to be.